What do you think about taking a mindfulness-based coping course organized by the municipality? The idea is to help me stay grounded in the here and now and to manage my emotions. It was recommended to me by a spiritual friend who said it really helped her become more present. Have you taken any specific steps to become more present yourselves? I sometimes find the process very intense, and I feel like I dissociate or feel distant and dizzy. There are moments of presence, but they're fleeting. Do you think it's necessary to take a course like this where they go deep into these practices, or will the process naturally lead me there on its own? I would love to hear about your experiences. Yeah, this is a great question here, Anne. So mindfulness-based coping course, I imagine is somewhat similar to mindfulness-based stress reduction course, um, likely founded on the teachings of John Kabat-Zinn, who basically presented mindfulness within this sort of Western context, stripped from the religious or spiritual themes there of, Buddhism and whatnot. And so doctors, therapists, your municipality, sometimes insurance companies will cover the cost of these courses because they've been proven to be effective scientifically. There's evidence to show that they're effective. And they definitely can be effective at improving a person's life, helping them to cope, helping them to manage stress. Of course, to be more grounded in the present moment, definitely they can be very effective. Um, However, there is another conversation that's beginning to happen in a bigger way, which is the adverse effects of mindfulness practices. The adverse effects of mindfulness practices. And so, essentially, like you're describing here, that you find the process to be very intense and you feel like you dissociate or feel distant and dizzy. So, these, some could argue, are some adverse effects of mindfulness or adverse effects of meditation. Um, Meditation is not mindfulness. Meditation is not like this panacea magic pill that will solve everyone's issues. In fact, it can stir up a lot of symptoms of trauma if a person is carrying a lot of that, and it can make it very challenging for a person. So there's an organization that is run by doctors, academics, mental health practitioners called Cheetah House, cheetahhouse.org. Weird name. Don't ask, or you can ask them and tell me what they say, but I don't know why it's called Cheetah House. Um, but they have created like a pretty extensive, uh, scientifically sound library of resources and courses and maybe even some services, consultations to address people dealing with meditation related distress. There's a book by somebody that is uh, affiliated with the organization called Trauma Informed Mindfulness. Trauma Informed Mindfulness. Yeah, David Treleaven. The book presents ways to actually engage in mindfulness from a trauma-informed lens, which the facilitators of the course may not be too familiar with. Many facilitators aren't. That's what I was saying. It's like a new conversation that's beginning to happen where people are realizing like, hey, whoa, hold on, let's slow down here. Mindfulness meditation is amazing. It's great. It's powerful. But some people are having adverse effects. Some people are having lots of trauma beginning to emerge, and then the facilitator doesn't know what to do because they weren't expecting it. They thought everyone would be peaceful and in the present moment and happy. And actually, when you sit to become present, you open up a space within which other content can begin to emerge, which isn't necessarily a bad thing if it's contained in a supportive environment, if there's context around this. So when you go on, say, a Vipassana meditation retreat, lots of stuff comes up, but that's part of the process. They talk about it. But if you go to like, just like a meditation evening at, whatever place is hosting it in your city, they may not be aware that like it can stir up a lot of trauma. And so not that we avoid the practice altogether, just being informed, having the confidence to stop the practice to seek support from the teacher and tell them what you're experiencing, to maybe even ask them if they're even aware of the adverse effects of mindfulness meditation, and perhaps educating them, linking them the book that I mentioned, linking them Cheetah House, letting them know like, hey, you need to get up to date on some of the latest findings here because yeah, some people have full-blown Kundalini awakenings. In the big picture, Kundalini awakening is great, but we could also consider it to be an adverse effect of meditation that we weren't expecting. Some people meditate just to find a little bit of peace, and suddenly they're having a full-blown Kundalini awakening. It turns into a spiritual crisis and emergency, and their whole life is turned upside down. And so these are some of the things that this website, Cheetah House, covers. They have a list of quote unquote symptoms that's like pretty extensive. You can check it out. I like the list. It's good. It also seems to be a list of Kundalini phenomena, if you ask me. Um, but just becoming familiar with all of this can help. I wouldn't run from the practice. I would just take it slow. You can find more active practices as well, walking in nature, being in community, um, gentle, less meditation as well can be effective. 5 minutes a day where you don't go too deep and stir up a lot of trauma, but you do get some benefits of the practice. And over time, you can increase as you feel more confident. Just some ideas to consider there. Yeah. So it's not necessary to take a course like this. With some practice, yeah, you can develop a deep practice on your own. Um, However, I would say consult with whoever's facilitating the course. Just say, hey, these are some of the things that I've experienced in meditation. Are you able to support me through this? This is my history. Are you familiar with adverse effects of meditation? Feel into the vibe. Will they say, oh, yes, of course, we're here. We got you. This is nothing unusual for us. Or if they're stunned, like we don't know what you're talking about, then probably don't do it. So I hope that can help you. That's a great question.